Hello everyone and welcome to another Tiny Things to Draw update. First up, we have the thorns on a cactus. As usual, after a sketch I outlined in Micron, I used a thicker marker for the cactus outline and then a thinner marker for the thorns. I had a little trouble sticking my sketch here, but moving on to the background, I wanted it to be kind of blurry and suggestive that there was another piece of the cactus back there, but I didn't want it to be super clear, so I did not outline. I just used all colored pencils. I started with the thorn and the highlight of the cactus using a yellow and a green colored pencil, and then I moved on to the rest of the background of the cactus with different color darker green. Then I went back to the foreground piece of the cactus, again using yellows and greens for the thorns and the cactus piece itself. Then to add some texture and even more highlight, I came in with Grabie acrylic paint markers. I finally got actually good quality acrylic paint markers. I'm so happy. I had a black colored pencil to deepen this shadow here, but I thought it got too black and not green enough, so I went over it with the Grabie acrylic paint marker, but I'm smudging out that marker before it dries to get that translucent effect, just to make it a bit more green. Here it is all done. I think it came out pretty cute. Next up we have a paper cut, and honestly I just went ham with this one. I didn't feel like doing a close-up cut because I thought it would look too much like the scratch I did for a drop of blood prompt, so instead I drew the whole hand and I just had fun with it. I didn't bother trying to be realistic or anything. I used purple for the skin because I felt like it. Purple is a good color. To deepen these shadows even more, I used a bit of reddish brown. After deepening those shadows, I took a light red colored pencil to add a little bit of red to the tip of the finger to give it some skin irritation. Then I outlined everything in Grabie acrylic paint markers. These markers are very high quality. The paint comes out so smoothly. I love them. They work much better than my Illyri acrylic paint markers. Anyway, there's the paper cut added in red, and then I added some drippy drip designs to the background, and then I added more patterns and we were done. Here's the full finished drawing, and here's some close-ups of the drawing because it is hard to fit this in a horizontal landscape. Okay, moving on. Next up we have dandruff, and I wanted to draw the dandruff like stuck in the roots of the hair, so I put down a layer of skin tone colored pencil first, and then I darkened it a little bit with brown. Then I used a light skin tone Grabie acrylic paint marker to draw on all these squiggly circle-ish shapes as the dandruff. Then with a brown acrylic marker, I added in the hair strands, and I left the very center completely blank as like the part in the hair. I tried to stagger the hairline backwards by putting each strand of hair a little bit behind the first one so it doesn't look like all the hair is coming from the same spot. After I drew in enough hair strands, I came back with the skin color acrylic paint marker, and I covered up some pieces of the hair to make it look like the hair was growing through the dandruff and that the dandruff was like stuck on top of the hair, not just under it. Next we have nose hair clippers, but I thought just drawing nose hair clippers would be kind of boring, so I added a nose in the background. I outlined everything in Micron, and then I came in with a dull yellow as the skin tone for the nose. And I used a silver colored pencil for the base of the scissors, and then I came back in with a brown as a shadow for the nose. To shade the scissors, I used Micron. I was very scribbly with the scissor shadows, and then for a bit of a highlight, I used a white Grabie acrylic paint marker. I also added a bit of white on the nose for a highlight, and then after highlighting, I decided to add some nose hair coming out of the nostrils with a very thin Micron marker because I thought nose hair was necessary to go with the nose hair clippers. Here's the clippers and the dandruff all done. Next up we have a binder clip. I decided to keep this drawing very soft, so I didn't outline it with marker at all. I did darken the outline with graphite, but again, no actual outline. Also in graphite, I added in all of the shadows and smoothed that out with my finger. Then for a little bit of color, I added some Artist Loft colored pencil. I didn't go super heavy with the coloring either. I left that soft and light as well. I have one binder clip pink, the other one orange, and then the table, I guess, or whatever they're laying on is green, and I left the paper white. There it is all done. Next up we have a beret, which I took as an excuse to draw some fun scene hair. Scene kids are very colorful, so I decided this doodle needed colored outlines, so I used some Japanese gel pens for all of the line work. I gave this character big poofy scene hair, which I think is so cute, and I added some strips of zebra print. I gave them a nice big bow and a bunch of berets in their fringe and side pieces, cause, you know, gotta add the prompt in here somehow. Then I colored it in with Artist Loft colored pencils, and I didn't go super heavy with the coloring here either. I kept it light and soft. There is so much going on with this hair, and I love it. I added a little bit of shading with graphite, and I also filled in the background with graphite as well. And then it was done. I think this doodle came out super cute. I love this character. Next, we have the head of a cotton swab. I put down a layer of graphite first and smoothed that out with my finger, then sketched out the general shape of a cotton swab. And the rest I did in Micron. I went super simple with this one. It's very sketchy and scribbly because I wanted to draw, but I didn't have any inspiration on how to make this drawing any more interesting than what I have here. I erased the graphite from the cotton swab section, added a bit more shadow with Micron, and then moved on to the next drawing, which is a moldy spot of bread. I exaggerated this one quite a bit. I looked up mold under a microscope and then drew those shapes and textures much larger. So now it kind of looks like this slice of bread is covered in some alien fungus, and you know, I'm here for it. I covered the whole thing in graphite and then added a little bit of color with Artist Loft colored pencils, just like I did with the binder clip doodle. Here are those 2 final doodles all done, and that concludes this week's update. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. If you would like to see more of me, click the link in the description box. That'll bring you to my Instagram, my other Instagram, my TikTok, and a whole bunch of other stuff involving me. Thank you again, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!